Hey everyone, I'm Pen and this is a pen. Today I'm going to show you how I made this faux fur stole. I'm pretty proud of it. It didn't end up as long as I wanted, and by the time I realized I don't have enough faux fur left to try and make a different one, but it serves its purpose and it's getting fur everywhere, if you can see it all floating around in the video. But I'm pretty proud of it. I made this little pearl button closure and I'm gonna wear it to the Laufey concert. I know it's not about being best dressed, but I want to be best dressed, but I don't know if I'm gonna be best dressed. But anyways, here's how I did it. I started by measuring how long I wanted it by wrapping the measuring tape around myself. I wanted mine about 55 inches. I think it ended up a little smaller, but it was okay. I made my lining piece a bit bigger than the faux fur piece because I'm not being as precise as I would be if I was making a more complicated garment, and I knew that I could always trim off the excess lining fabric, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough that I could pull it taut and have it all nice and smooth. I then used my lining fabric to measure out my faux fur piece. I wish I made it longer. I wish I made it as long as I made the faux fur piece, but for some reason I didn't do that and it ended up shorter than I wanted it to be, but it's honestly fine. When cutting faux fur, make sure to only cut the back lining part. I use an X-Acto knife just to make sure that I don't cut through the fur, because otherwise you'll get some blunt edges and then it'll look strange. All the edges that I cut to pull off any of the fur that was coming loose. I really wanted to make sure I could get as much of it in the garbage so that there was less cleanup later. Then I sewed the lining and the faux fur right sides together, keeping one short end open. would suggest pinning it together because I didn't pin it together because I was following someone else's tutorial and it ended up really wonky and I kept having to undo it and redo it. So I would suggest pinning it together because I ended up having to undo all of my stitches and repin it together, and it was really frustrating. I also made sure that the excess fabric from the lining was fully over the edge of the faux fur because I wanted to make sure that I could pull it taut over the faux fur as I kept sewing so that I would have a nice smooth lining. The corner, put your needle down, pivot the fabric, and continue sewing, and make sure to really pull that lining fabric taut. You want to make sure that you have a nice smooth lining. Once I finished sewing those 3 edges, I turned it right side out to make sure that it was laying the way I wanted it to and that it looked all nice, and I was really proud of it. So I turned it back inside out so I could cut off the excess lining and faux fur. Then I turned it right side out and pulled out any of the faux fur that was caught in the stitches. Next, on the side that is still open, you want to fold in your faux fur and your lining as almost like you're wrapping a present, where you tuck in the edges and the corners and pin it together and sew that down. Just did a quick little wrap around try on, and that's when I noticed it was a little shorter than I wanted it to be, but it was a little too late. Next I wanted to add a little closure, so I marked where I wanted it to close, and then I sewed on a little bead. I chose a pearl one because a lot of pieces for my outfit for Laufey have pearls. Then I took the thinnest piece of elastic that I had, measured it around the pearl, and sewed it on. I wish that I had just like an elastic string, but I didn't. I just had like an actual little wide piece of elastic, but if you have like just an elastic string, I would suggest using that instead because of the width of an actual piece of elastic. It doesn't fit as snug around the pearl as I wish it would, so it pops open when I don't want it to. so much for watching. What are your favorite artists? What artists have you gone to see in concert recently? Who was your favorite artist to see in concert? What kind of outfits did you wear? Like, did you go all out or did you just keep it casual? Let me know everything down below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.